What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Principles Experience. My name is Kevin Jenkins, and today I want to talk about three sectors that have grown within the last 10 years. Now, I know you have heard me from my previous episode, on episode 11. I've talked about diversification, I've talked about asset allocation, but I want to talk specifically on the sectors and the industries that you can invest into these different areas, so you can be able to give yourself the diversification that you will want within your portfolio. So I'm going to go over some sectors, three sectors specifically, and I'm going to talk about the companies that you would see within those sectors, and then also what industry the sectors are in. You know, for example, AMD, which is Advanced Micro Devices, my mistake. They basically help with graphics designing. They do computer gaming technology. They help with the development of computer games technology, and they're even going to be creating the microprocessors for the PS5, releasing in November of 2020 of this year. So AMD is technically a tech company. They're a computer gaming technology company, and they will be in the information technology sector, just to give you an example. But I'm gonna go into more details, and we'll go over the sectors, and I'll give you all some good insight when it comes to that. So whenever you're looking at an index or a mutual fund, you have sectors that break down the portfolio. The composition of the portfolio will be broken down into different sectors. So for example, with the S&P 500, it's comprised mostly of the technology sector at about 25.7%, followed by the healthcare industry, and that's at about 19.4%. So that's just an example of just the sector and how it breaks down, looking at an index fund and looking at how it breaks down in between different sectors. Now, when it comes to information technology, I believe that this one has grown so substantially within the last 10 years because of everything that we do with technology, from social media, from the way we use the internet, from the different social media platforms, even from having to work from home and use different video conferencing software on your laptop. All of that plays a factor in the information technology sector growing. And I think that when you look at the stock market as a whole, there are 11 specific sectors, but in this episode, I'm going to go over the three that I feel that have grown substantially, which is information technology, healthcare, and consumer discretionary. And like I was saying with information technology, ever since the internet was available for public use in 1991, it only has grown since then, and it's going to continue to grow within the 21st century. And a lot of companies that you will see in the information technology sector are companies that develop software in various fields, such as the internet, applications, database, system management, and even companies that provide information technology consulting and services. The semiconductor field is also within this industry as well. And semiconductors is simply materials that develop electric circuits. But all of those are included within the information technology sector. And when I looked at the year to date, when I looked at Fidelity.com of what the information technology sector has done up until this point a year ago, it's at about 45.7%. So that just goes to show that it's only going to continue to grow. And my corrections is 47.59%. So it was higher than I anticipated. And when I looked at the last 10 years of the information technology sector, it shows here, give me 1 second. I want to make sure I give you all the right information. 469%. And I'm sorry that took so long, but I want to make sure I give you the correct information. And that's on Fidelity.com. I found that information, but that just shows you the gains of the sector is the highest among all the other 10 sectors within the market, so it's only going to continue to grow more. Now, the next is healthcare. Healthcare, I would say, is very prevalent to what everything that's going on now with COVID, with different biotechnology companies looking at ways of how they can develop different vaccine technologies to combat against this disease. So I think that the healthcare is an industry that I'm focused on, that I think that we all should be able to become aware of, because not just for the vaccine of COVID, but also just biotechnology products in general. A lot of these companies like Moderna, Amgen, they help with the development of different medical drugs as well. So it's definitely more than just, coming up. The healthcare industry is more than just COVID vaccines, but that is one of the reasons of why it could potentially increase in the future. But there are a lot of other great reasons of why the healthcare industry is one sector that you should be investing in, because that's only going to continue to grow further as well. Now, the healthcare sector comprises of two main industry groups, and the first includes companies who manufacture healthcare equipment and supplies to provide healthcare related services. So you have companies like Stryker. They're a leading medical technology company, and they help with developing hospital beds, and they provide different medical and surgical equipment for healthcare professionals and patients. And this is a company that specifically will be an example of one you will see in the healthcare industry. And I know you're hearing a lot of thundering in the background. You're probably seeing flashes of lightning. There is raining going. It's a rainstorm right now. I live in Florida, so disregard that. But as I was saying, Stryker is a great company that's what will be within the healthcare industry, and they would be in that specific segment when you look at companies that provide equipment and supplies for healthcare professionals. Now, the second segment within the healthcare sector is you have you also have the servicing. You have the servicing segment. Now the servicing segment, well, not the servicing segment, but you have a segment in the healthcare industry where there are companies that are involved in the research, development, production, and marketing of pharmaceuticals and biotechnology equipment. So these are companies that are, coming up with research. They're looking at ways to develop biotechnology products and services to consumers. So I definitely think when you're looking into healthcare, picking a great index fund is great to make sure that you're getting all of the quality companies that are investing in not only the COVID vaccines, but coming up with new technology when it comes to the biotech industry. And when I looked at within the last 10 years what the healthcare industry has done, it's up 277%. So that just goes to show you tremendously, healthcare industry is going to be here to stay, and it's a sector to focus on. The last one that I wanted to mention is consumer discretionary. Now, whether you know it or not, discretionary is a lot of the different habits and the things that we do as consumers, as far as how we shop and we go out and we spend money in the economy. Now, consumer discretionary is simply a term that classifies goods and services that are non-essential items that are purchased by consumers. And pretty much with consumer discretionary, this sector has a manufacturing segment that includes automotive, household durable goods, textiles, and apartment and leisure equipment companies. And with discretionary, consumer discretionary, this sector is measured by if consumers have the money to purchase these items, such as, for instance, going out to eat, different leisure activities, whether you're going like rock climbing or you're going to the movies. Consumer discretionary is measured in those different areas. Now, there also is a servicing segment with consumer discretionary, and with that, it includes hotels, restaurants, media production, consumer retailing and services. So that shows you as well you know, going out on a nice vacation, you go to a hotel, you go to a nice restaurant, that's consumer discretionary right there as well. And when you look at your budget, when you spend your money on your bills, and you take what you have received from your job, or if you're self-employed, what you've made in your company, usually what you have left over is your discretionary income when you'll spend based on, you know, whatever needs that you have. Now, this is for non-essential items. A lot of times you'll hear consumer staples. With consumer staples, those are essential items that are purchased from consumers. So that's more like food and beverage, things like as far as washing, brushing your teeth, toothpaste, different body wash materials. So those will be more consumer staple items. So when I looked at within the last 10 years what the consumer discretionary sector has done, it's up 391%. So that just goes to show you, I mean, these are three quality sectors that have grown in the past, that will only continue to grow in the future. And what I'm going to put in the show notes is kind of all of the sectors, just so you have an idea of other sectors out there that are performing well within the last 10 years. And I want to tell you all, thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. If you could please like, subscribe, and share this video, I would greatly appreciate it. If you heard something that stood out to you, being able to share this with your family and friends, I will only be so gratefully humbled if you could be able to do that. And I'm also going to put in the show notes the link so you can be able to watch this. I mean, you can be able to listen to this video through my podcast on all audio platforms, and also my Instagram will be there on there as well. I drop financial content weekly, and I want to tell you all, thank you so much for tuning in to the Principles Experience, and you take